My name is Jochem Jordaan. We are from the Netherlands and we are so excited to be here. Are you guys excited?
Hello, beautiful people! Welcome to the next episode in my YouTube channel. Today I will tell you all about the event that I participated in recently, and that is called European Youth Event. It takes place in Strasbourg in the European Parliament, and it was a huge gathering of all of the, of many young people from Europe and beyond to discuss the Europe's future. So if you are interested, if you are curious in what I want to talk to you and in what this event is about, then please stay with me in this episode and I will share with you all of the experience that I've had over the weekend in Strasbourg. Strasbourg is a small city located in northeastern France. It's just by the border with Germany, and it used to belong to Germany during the Second World War. So after it ended, it became a home for important European institutions. Since then, it's a hub for the European Parliament, for the Council of Europe, and for the European Court of Human Rights. Therefore, it plays quite a big role on the European stage. The event that I participated in took place in the European Parliament. What is the European Parliament? It's a forum for the political debate and decision making in the EU. It's the European institution where members of the European Parliament are directly elected by the voters in all member states. Currently, there is 705 MEPs, and that is only because the UK left the European Union. So the number of the MEPs reduced from 751 to 705, including the President of the European Parliament. So the European Union's values are actually defined in the Article 2 in the Treaty of the European Union, and these are the following. It's the respect for human dignity, it's the freedom, it's the democracy, it's the equality, and it's the rule of law, as well as respect for the human rights, including the rights of the persons belonging to minorities. The European Youth Event, was a great opportunity for us to actually learn how the Parliament works. I'm not sure if that applies to your countries as well, but from what I remember, we didn't really cover that topic very well in the school. So the functioning of the European Union and the European Parliament are very abstract, are very mysterious. It's not that clear after you leave the school. Therefore, of course, you can get the knowledge by yourself, you can investigate, you can research, and you can find the information. So, of course, I believe that most of the people know something about the European Union. However, the functioning of the European Parliament, for many, is quite unknown. And I was definitely, and probably still am to a certain extent, one of these people. During the event, gathered almost 10,000 young people. I found this number incredible, and it was very amazing to see all of these young, motivated, or even angry people who wanted to question how the European policies are working. How are they working in this way and not in that way? Why are they even implemented in the first place? There were people with many new and different ideas about, as the slogan says, shaping the future of Europe. The event consisted of many different workshops, panels and different activities that we had to sign up for in order to participate. And the list of activities was released more or less a month beforehand. So through the app we had an access to the portal where we could book the activities that we want to participate in. At the beginning, there was one rule. There was only one activity available to book in the hemicycle, which is the main room in the European Parliament. So this is what I've done. I booked one session in the hemicycle, and that was called exactly the jobs of the future, the green and digital transitions. So I was very excited to hear, to listen, to discuss, and to actually be and sit in the hemicycle of the European Parliament. But yeah, let's start from the beginning. I arrived to Strasbourg on Thursday, 8th of June. It's probably no surprise that the city was already filled with so many people. I'm not sure if all of them were coming for the eye or if there were tourists as well, but the city was full. So the parliament organized for the young people who noticed the notification on Facebook the boat tour. So just after I arrived from Riga, traveling to Frankfurt and then taking the bus to Strasbourg, I arrived there at around 4 p.m. The boat tour started at 5:30. It was a really nice opportunity to actually get to know some people, to visit the town, to listen to the descriptions of the city, of its history, and of different architecture, buildings, people, economy, culture. So that was definitely a very nice welcome event towards the whole weekend. On the same day, just after the tour, together with some people that I've already got to know on the boat, we went to sign up, well, maybe not to sign up, but to do accreditation. So we went to pick up our tote bags, because this is what we received, and some leaflets to guide us through the whole event. That didn't take a very long time. It seemed like it was very nicely organized. There were many guides and many people working on it. So once we arrived, it took us maybe 15 minutes to collect everything that we had to collect and check in into the event. The hostel that I was staying in was actually located quite outside of the city center, so I decided to walk there. It took me more or less an hour, and that was also a very nice opportunity to visit the city and its surroundings. The hostel that I was staying in was, again, full of different participants of the DI. Everyone in my room came for the event. There was 4 of us, 4 girls, and it was very nice because we got along quite well, and we could travel and participate in different events in the parliament together. What I found really interesting is the fact that the majority of people actually came by themselves. It was only me, myself and I who decided to go to Strasbourg, to the parliament, and participate in this event. So it was a huge benefit for everyone because it was very easy to make friends, to make connections, and to create some groups where people were sticking to, because there were not so many people that came with other friends. Of course, you could participate in the event as the whole organization, and that was also happening. However, from the people that I've met, there were these single individuals that decided to come to Strasbourg by themselves. So on day 1, which was Friday, June 9th, we went to go to the parliament quite early in the morning. I think it was maybe around 8:30, just before 9, to make it on time for the opening ceremony that was taking place at 10 a.m. It was not such a long journey. However, all of the city was already crowded and full of young people trying to get on the tram, which was actually not that easy, and many people didn't make it. So the opening ceremony started at 10 a.m. in the I village, which was the place with many different tents, bars.
Please give a very warm welcome to Jean Bersejean, the mayor of Strasbourg.
Hello everybody, bonjour tout le monde. Bienvenue à Strasbourg. Welcome to Strasbourg. Willkommen in Strasbourg. C'est un grand plaisir, une grande joie et une grande fierté que d'accueillir une fois de plus le European Youth Event, la rencontre européenne de la jeunesse.
After we waited in the queue to actually get to the parliament after the opening ceremony, it took us, well, an hour and a half. It was a very bad organization on the first day of getting into the parliament. Everything improved on the second day, however, it was the moment where a lot of people started to doubt if they ever will enter the parliament, because there were so many people and the space in the parliament was limited. So not everyone could be there at the same time, which is something that I didn't really understand. But I guess these are the rules, so we needed to make space for everyone. Once someone was leaving, another person could be let inside. And then all of the activities started. So let me just read from my agenda what activities I participated in, just so I don't mix up any titles. So on Friday, June 9th, I participated in the European Cinema Driving Social Change. It was a very interesting workshop for which I was actually very late due to the waiting lines. And I made it only to the second part, where we were divided into groups and we were creating scripts for the movie. We had certain genre given on the big screen, different locations and the topics that we wanted to talk about. So our task was to create a plot of a movie as a group and then present it. So it was very interesting to listen to so many different perspectives from people coming from so many different places and the messages that they wanted to send across. So in the end, the group that won, it was the Hungarian movie about different generations of people and this feeling of being lost, of not belonging. If our grandparents were born in the place that we live in, then our parents lived in the country which was led by communistic party, and then it's the young generation, it's us young people who are open to everything, who are very intelligent, who are driven by different ideas, new ideas, and they really want to change something. So this division between generations and the feeling of being closed is the topic that actually won during this workshop. The second activity that I participated in, it was the one in the hemicycle, Jobs of Tomorrow, Green, Digital and Hybrid. It was the activity that took place in the hemicycle, and the most interesting thing, or one of the most interesting, is the fact that I was sitting on the seat of Ursula von der Leyen. So I was able to feel like her for some time. I got the seat in the first row and I really felt like the whole room was belonging to me, as if I was sitting in a very, very important seat. The panel was very interesting. It took an hour and a half more or less, and we were discussing the new ideas of jobs in the future. So basically the 4 days working week, the implementation of the AI and all of its benefits. Actually the part of disadvantages was missed a little bit. And the other aspect mentioned was the sustainability of our future jobs. So if AI is actually so sustainable as we think about it, what about closing the coal mines, which is gonna make a lot of miners lose their jobs? There is certain fund that is going to be directed towards rebranding, changing the career of people who were working in the industry. I know and I am aware that it's not all so easy as it sounds. However, the goal of going CO2 free is already in plan, and countries, and especially European Union, signed under the pact that until 2050 we are going to stop producing CO2. So there are certain measures taken towards it. We were discussing how is that going to affect the future of the job market. Another workshop panel was called Politics Are For You, Make a Difference. That was very interesting, where different MEPs coming from Western Balkans or ex-Yugoslavian countries were talking to us about how they moved from the side of civic society, or being an activist, to the European Parliament, and how they realized that making a change from within is actually possible. Bearing in mind that these ex-Yugoslavian countries, Western Balkans, are countries with very little belief towards the government, where there is a lot of corruption, and it's not so obvious that you as a young person can go into the European Parliament and change something. So these people were proving to us that yes, this is actually possible. And then the last workshop of the day, which for me was the most interesting from all of them, was Myanmar's Forgotten Revolution, reporting on the junta's violent and illegitimate rule. We had guests from Myanmar. It was a journalist and another girl who is currently living in Germany and advocating for the rights and, well, better future of Myanmar. And we were discussing the situation of this forgotten revolution, of the fact that there is a basically genocide happening in the country, and we don't really hear about that. So it was an opportunity for them to share what they're going through. It was so interesting to listen from this first-hand experience of the person who actually lived this moment where the junta, where the military took over the government, when the coup d'etat started, and when the whole country basically lost the internet in a second. So for this person as a journalist, that was a very difficult time. It still is a very difficult time because it is still happening. It's the time where the Myanmar's military introduced the death penalty and actually executed 4 people living in Myanmar. Nowadays, right now, currently, the death penalty is no longer in the policies, however it has been. So speaking about it, advocating for it is something that is very important. The next day I didn't participate in many events. There was one, it was called... Yes, actually it was the continuation of the panel on Myanmar. It was the situation in the Indo-Pacific Ocean territory. So we were discussing the big elephants in the room, as it was mentioned. It was Russia, it was China, and how is the situation, the geopolitical situation in this region looking like. And the last event that I took part in, it was the European Cinema Nights, Watch and Rate Triangle of Sadness. So that was the movie that was actually and let me here read, nominated for the Lux Audience Award by the European Parliament and the European Film Academy. So that was a chance for us to actually watch this movie, and I have to admit it was very, very interesting at the beginning. However, by the third part of the movie I was very skeptical, so I didn't finish and I left the room to go to the I Village and participate in the events over there. And all the events that I mentioned here is only a tiny part of everything that was happening in the European Parliament. There were many guests as the President of the European Parliament, the Vice President that I actually didn't see. And except of that, there were many different events and stands across the Parliament. So we had an opportunity to try ourselves as interpreter for the interpretation in the hemicycle, and I had a chance to actually discuss it with one Polish lady who is working in this way in the hemicycle and who is translating simultaneously when MEPs and their different plenary sessions. So that was very, very interesting. I tried myself translating from Spanish to Polish, and I have to admit it's a quite difficult task to do it when someone else is speaking, to not to lose everything that they are talking about. There were different cafes, restaurants, there was a stage where there was a band playing, there was a stand, it was called Ideas Hub, where you could go and present your own ideas for the future of the European Union or the Parliament. And there were people to listen to you, there were different campaigns, there were different stands. For example, the European Council, which was giving away these bracelets. They are actually responsible for the human rights. So here I have one that I picked up, the right to education. So they developed this idea to give it away to people so we can raise awareness of what the Council of Europe is actually doing. And after all of the activities ended in the European Parliament, we moved ourselves to the I Village. As I mentioned before, it was this village with many different tents and food trucks and the stage. So actually before the I event, there was a competition organized for many different young groups from around of Europe who could apply and take part as a young band. And some of them were amazing. It was a lot of fun to listen to all of these young people having so much motivation and power and being so good. So the whole event was sponsored by young European bands, and a lot of people had so much fun. By the end, after all of the concerts, there were DJs coming onto the stage, and the party was continuing until more or less 10:30, 11, where people were really vibing and having a lot of fun. Key points taken out of this event were the following. There was definitely a lot of emphasis put on us young people to promote the next year's election for the European Parliament. Therefore, since I was there, and if you're watching it, then yes, please have a look on the European elections of 2024 and participate. Another thing is the fact that we as young people were actually given the voice. We were able to speak, we were able to ask questions, and I think that is so extremely important in making young people actually belief or regain the belief into politics. And well, as everyone says, if we are not involved, if we are not doing something, then others will do it for us. So we might as well be aware of what is happening in this world. So participating in this event was the chance for me and for many other people to actually understand all of this and to see that yes, we do have a voice, and as long as you are involved and interested and you want to do something, then you have this chance. And the last thing that I want to mention, that is something the most inspiring of all of this weekend, is the fact that nowadays young people are so incredibly smart. Everyone that I've met was so interesting, so inspiring, and knew so much. When I was 18, I cannot remember that I was able to engage myself into the political debate on the situation between China and Taiwan, or that I was able to discuss the geopolitical situation in Indo-Pacific region and the relationship between Myanmar and Thailand, or that I knew anything about the European Council and what they are doing. So nowadays, young people who at least were participating in this event are the future, are the present, we are the present, and I really found it so inspiring to talk to so many bright and brilliant people and learn from them so much. And I guess that was the point of the whole event as well. So just to summarize very briefly, and this was everything that happened in Strasbourg during these 2 days. I am extremely happy that I went, even though I had certain doubts before going and I really didn't think I would make it. I did. I am very satisfied with the whole event. I'm not sure if I'm gonna... Next week I'll talk more about the lessons that I took from the European Youth event. And for this week, that is everything. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you that learned something, and I will see you here next week. Of course, don't forget to subscribe and to like this video, because that is actually making this channel grow, and I see it's growing, so it's this my little baby that I really want to improve. So please do subscribe, please do like, and see you here next week. Bye!